Today we will start with second part of chapter 1, equality. Take your political science textbook. Page number 9, equality in Indian democracy. Last paragraph, equality in Indian democracy. So, in the last class we said India is a democratic country where all people have equal rights. And another thing we said that inequality also exists in India on the basis of caste, religion and living standards, economic backgrounds. People are different ways. People are from lower, rich and poor, you can see in India. So, that does not mean that India is not a democratic country. Inequality ceases to exist. Inequality will be there. But government has ensured certain provisions for equality. So, government has given certain provisions through the constitution for equality to be guaranteed to the citizens. So, earlier there were no laws or provisions, people were treating people unequally. Now, you can see that there is provisions provided by the government for equal treatment or equal protecting the rights of the people. So, we will start with take page number 10, second paragraph. The recognition of equality includes some of the following provisions in the constitution. So, in the Indian constitution, there are laws to protect the rights of people or to protect that people are equally treated in India. First one from this is every person is equal before law. Every person is equal before the law. No person can be discriminated on the basis of caste, gender, economic backgrounds, religion. On the basis of these things, nobody should be discriminated. Third one, people should have accessibility to public places. Everyone should have accessibility to public places. And fourth one, untouchability has been abolished. So, all these are guaranteed through the Indian constitution. There are laws written in the Indian constitution to protect these things. Now, page number 10, second paragraph, mark this provisions in the Indian constitution. First, every person is equal before the law. Underline the point, write there point number 1, every person is equal before the law. Second point, okay, every person is equal before the law means what? From president of the country to domestic worker, everyone has to obey the same rules. Everybody has to obey the same rules. So, second line also underline. This means that president of the country to the domestic worker, name is given that we studied in the last class. Kanda, her name is given there. So, president of the country to Kanda, everyone has to obey the same rules. Now, second point, no person can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, race, caste, place of birth and whether they are female or male. So, on these basis nobody can be discriminated. Nobody can be discriminated. Underline. Third point, every person has to access to all public places including playgrounds, hotels, shops and markets. So, whatever the government, public places means whatever provided by government, we all have free accessibility. We all can go there. That is the third point. Fourth one, untouchability has been abolished. Earlier, people were treated on the basis of their caste. They were untouchables like scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, all this were taken as untouchables. So, that system has been removed, that has been abolished. Untouchability has been abolished. So, these are the provisions given in the constitution to ensure that equality is maintained in India. Clear? Now, next paragraph you can see that government has implemented this through different laws and schemes. So, next paragraph, how government has ensured this through different laws in India. There are different laws in India to protect the rights of people to be treated equally. So, government has implemented so many laws through which people's rights are guaranteed. Second point, midday meal scheme. This is a scheme given by the government of India, thereby children who are studying till class 7, they are in the elementary schools, they were given free food. So in the lunchtime, if they get nutritious food, children are willing to come to school. We are not talking about cities. In the rural areas, children are starving. So many people are there, they don't have enough work. So they don't have anything to feed their children. So in those areas, children come to school on the hope of getting food also. So starvation is removed by this. So second paragraph, these two paragraphs we have to study now. Page number 10. The two ways in which the government has tried to implement the equality that is guaranteed in the constitution is first, through laws, underline, through laws government has ensured this, and second, through government programs or schemes, underline only that much, laws and schemes. Now coming to page number 11, second paragraph. The steps taken by the government includes midday meal scheme. So midday meal scheme is important. You will get questions from this portion, from this paragraph. This refers to the program introduced by all government elementary schools to provide children with cooked lunch. So lunch is provided to children through this scheme. So Tamil Nadu was the first state introduced the midday meal scheme, and in 2001 the Supreme Court asked all state governments to begin this program in their schools within 6 months. So what is the benefit of this scheme? More and more poor children, more and more children were willing to come to school in the hope of getting food. Yes. Another thing is, both the higher class, lower class, all those who are studying in the school, economic backgrounds may vary, their caste may vary, their religion may vary, they all are sitting together and having their food. So that equality is ensured there. Then Dalit women, that means people from lower backgrounds, they were appointed as cook here. So they cook the food and serve to the children. So that way equality is ensured in this through this schemes. Now that much here to underline here. Second paragraph, midday meal scheme. Tamil Nadu was the first state in India to start the midday meal scheme. Then what were the benefits of introduction of this midday meal scheme? You can mark, more poor children have begun enrolling and regularly attending school, underline. Then more and more, earlier they used to go to home after, for food, and then they don't return. So that has been stopped now. Then next one, parents, mothers who are working, they don't have to interrupt their work to feed their children. They have to come to home and feed their children. We are talking about the rural areas now. That is why the mothers will come back and feed the children. Again, they will go to the field. So that has been stopped. Caste prejudice has been removed. That means what? Earlier we separate people on the basis of caste, religion, all. That has been stopped because people from lower and upper class sit together and have their food. Now Dalit women have been employed to cook the meal. Underline all these points. So the midday meal helped to reduce the hunger of poor students who often come to school without food, and they were starving, so they can't concentrate in the class. So all these problems were solved, and equality is ensured by providing the midday meal scheme. Now going to page number 12. Even though persons are aware that discrimination is against the law, they continue to treat people unequally. So it is who have to improve now? Laws are there, yes. To ensure equality, government has all these laws, provisions are given. Who has to improve? We all have to improve ourselves. We should know how to treat others with dignity. Yes, we should respect each other. So that way only equality can be ensured. People from maybe the maid coming to your home, we should respect them with your words. When you call them respectfully, that is the way we can ensure equality. Maybe their background is very low, maybe they are from different religion. We should know how to behave to people with respect. Now, issues of equality in other democracies. Now we talk about India only. Yes. Now about other democracies, other countries, we are going to give an example of USA now. So United States of America, we all know they were African Americans. So these people were brought from Africa as slaves. So their main way of discrimination is on the basis of race. Race means skin color, that we studied in class 6, apartheid and all, how people were discriminated on the basis of their skin color. So African Americans were saying that still this inequality exists there, even Even after there was civil rights movement was there and Civil Rights Act was passed in 1964, still there is discrimination on the basis of race. For India, it was on the basis of caste and religion. For African Americans, it was on the basis of race, skin color. So, coming to page number 12, issues of equality in other democracies, take this paragraph. First paragraph, issues of equality in other democracies. First paragraph, in the middle of the paragraph you can see, for example, in the United States of America, the African Americans whose ancestors were the slaves who were brought over from Africa continue to describe their lives today as largely unequal. Underline. So, they say that we are still treated unequally because they were Africans. They were said that blacks and whites, they separate people on the basis of their skin color. This despite the fact that there was a movement in the late 1950s to push for equal rights for African Americans. So, there was a movement, there was a struggle led by a lady called Rosa Parks to ensure that all should be treated equally in America. But this does not happen, that is what they are saying. Still people are treating them badly, unequally. So, we will read the story of Rosa Parks. Next paragraph, page number 12. Rosa Parks was an African American woman. Tired from a long day at work, she refused to give up her seat on a bus to a white man on 1st December 1955. Underline. Her refusal that day started a huge agitation against the unequal ways in which African Americans were treated. So, she is the first one to go against the law. They were treated very unequally in America. So, she said, I am not going to go away from this seat because she is equally tired as that other person. She said, I am not going out of the seat. So, this started a civil rights movement to ensure that both African and Americans should be treated equally. Now, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed and it prohibited the discrimination on the basis of race. Underline, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibited discrimination on the basis of race, religion, or national origin. Underline. It is also stated that all schools would be open to African American children and that they would no longer have to attend separate schools specially set up for them. So, earlier there were separate schools for these children, separate bus for them. That all we studied in class 6, how they were treated. Yes, we studied in class 6 chapter that how inequality existed in USA. This ensures, Civil Rights Act of 1964 ensures that everyone should be given equal status. Now, going to page number 13, there is a fact box given there, excerpts from Article 15 of Indian Constitution. Underline. So, we already said in the Constitution there are laws to protect the equality of rights, we said. So, where is it written? Article 15 of the Indian Constitution. Underline. Prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth. So, people should not be discriminated on the basis of religion, race, skin color, caste, sex means male or female, or place of birth. First point here is, the state shall not discriminate against any citizen on the grounds on religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth or any of them. Underline this point. Second point, no citizen shall on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth or any of them be subject to any disability, liability or restriction with regard to access to shop. These 2 points we discussed in the first one. Yes, we discussed here that no person can be discriminated and accessibility to public places. These 2 are ensured in Article 15. Article 15 of Indian Constitution, these 2 provisions were given. So, underline which laws, where is it written in the Constitution? Article 15 ensures that no person can be discriminated. All people have accessibility to public places. These 2 things you have to remember. You do not need to study this entire thing. Just underline Article 15 of the Indian Constitution ensures that no person can be discriminated on the basis of religion, caste, race, sex, place of birth, and accessibility to public places are ensured. That means everybody, every citizen of India has the right to access all the public places. This is all about the chapter. I hope you all understood the chapter very well. Children, frame as many questions as you can. See you in the next class. Thank you, children.